Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time that you get to listen to this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to listen and to share this podcast with at least one person per day. If you're listening to this on YouTube, kindly remember to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So today we'll be covering Numbers chapter 20, which is one of the saddest chapters in this book for me. And so let's find out why. So I'm going to be reading from the version, the message, and I'm going to be reading word for word. So in this first month, the entire company of the people of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin. The people stayed in Kadesh. Let me first just explain what it means by this first month. So this was the first month after the Israelites had already gone almost 40 years in the wilderness. This is the first month of their last year in the wilderness. So Miriam died there and she was buried. Oh, Miriam has died. There was no water there for the community, so they ganged up on Moses and Aaron. They attacked Moses. We wish we would died with the rest of our brothers who died before God. Why did you haul this congregation of God out here into this wilderness to die, people and cattle alike? And why did you take us out of Egypt in the first place, dragging us into this miserable country? No grain, it has no figs, it has no grapevines, it has no pomegranates, and now not even water. Okay, these guys used to complain harshly. What? Moses and Aaron walked from the assembled congregation to the tent meeting and threw themselves face down on the ground, and they saw the glory of God. God spoke to Moses, "Take the staff, or rather the walking stick or the rod, assemble the community, you and your brother Aaron, speak to that rock that's right in front of them, and it will give water. You will bring water out of the rock for them. Congregation and cattle will both drink." Moses took the staff away from God's presence as commanded. He and Aaron rounded up the whole congregation in front of the rock. And Moses spoke, "Listen, you rebels." Hey, Moses had it. Now he's calling them rebels. "Do we have to bring water out of this rock for you?" With that, Moses raised his arm and slammed his staff against the rock. Once and then twice, and water poured out. Congregation and the cattle drank. God said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust me, you did not treat me with holy reverence in front of the people of Israel, you too aren't going to lead this company into the land that I'm giving them." These were the waters of Meribah, or waters of bickering, where the people of Israel bickered with God, and he revealed himself as holy. So Moses sent emissaries from Kadesh to the king of Edom with this message. "A message from your brother Israel. You are familiar with all the troubles we have run into. Our ancestors went down to Egypt and lived there for a very long time. The Egyptians viciously abused both us and our ancestors. But when we cried out for help to God, he heard our cries. He sent an angel and got us out of Egypt. And now we are here at Kadesh, a town at the border of your land. Will you give us permission to cut across your land? We won't trespass through your fields or orchards, and we won't drink out of your wells. We'll keep to the main road, the king's road, straying neither right nor left until we have crossed your border." The king of Edom answered, "Not on your life. If you so much as set your foot on my land, I will kill you." So the people of Israel said, "Look, we'll stay on the main road, and if we or our animal drink any water, we'll pay for it. We are harmless, just a company of footsore travelers." He answered again, "No, you may not come through." And Edom came out and blocked the way with a crowd of people brandishing weapons. Edom refused to let them cross through his land, so Israel had to detour around him. So the people of Israel and the entire company set out from Kadesh and traveled to Mount Hor. God said to Moses and Aaron at the mountain, at the border of Edom, it is time for Aaron to be gathered into the company of his ancestors. Rather, it's time for Aaron to die. He will not enter the land that I'm giving to the people of Israel, because you both rebelled against my orders at the water of Meribah. So take Aaron and his son Eleazar and lead them up to Mount Hor. Remove Aaron's clothes from him and put them on his son Eleazar, and Aaron will be gathered there. Aaron will die. So Moses obeyed God's commands. They climbed up Mount Hor as the whole congregation watched, and Moses took off Aaron's clothes and put them on his son Eleazar. Aaron died on top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain, and the whole congregation, getting the news that Aaron had died, went into 30 days of mourning for him. That's this chapter is really sad. Like, I mean, how do you want someone going to die? Like, someone is just climbing up the mountain and you know they're not coming back. And even you as a person who's going to die, I'm imagining just the thoughts that you're having. Anyway, so this chapter happens in the first month of their last year in the wilderness. And as in it, in a time like this, in their next year, the Israelites will finally be entering the promised land. Moses had done well in leading these 1 million plus people throughout these many harsh years, and in the last year he makes a mistake, and now he will not set his foot in the promised land. Let me be real with you guys. I have really struggled, and I probably still do struggle with this consequence, and I always feel like God was just a little bit too harsh. But other than that, I have also observed a pattern, and that is what we will focus on and let God speak to us through it. You see, Moses had anger issues right from when he killed an Egyptian after he found him harassing an Israelite. As a matter of fact, a part of Exodus chapter 32 records that God would tell Moses to go and talk to Pharaoh, but Moses would go to Pharaoh in hot anger. As in, by the time the Bible is recording that you have hot anger, there's an issue. We also see the same anger when he came down from Mount Sinai and found people worshipping an idol, and he slammed and broke the tablets that had the 10 commandments, now forcing God to repeat the whole process of writing the commandments in a new tablet. And this was his last straw. God instructed him to go and talk to a stone, but he hit it. You know, when I think about Moses, he was probably like the kind of people who break TVs, they break all your plates and glasses in an argument. I'm like, let me tell you, if you break it, you will pay for it. You see, the thing is, some people may argue that his anger may have been righteous, but clearly God did not approve of it. And Moses left the anger unchecked for way too long. And it is what now, 40 years later, causing him to strike a rock in anger and resulting in his being excluded from the promised land. So the thing is, we are living in woke times as compared to many years ago. We are more aware that our life experiences, our childhood, the way we were brought up, can be the cause of why we behave the way we do. And we are doing better at asking for help. And there is also less shame in going for therapy. So the thing is, maybe your recurring sin or struggle or trauma or pain isn't anger like Moses. But whatever it is that keeps tripping you, you need to identify it and repent of it if it's a sin, or heal from it if it's a struggle, trauma, or pain. And you need to do it now before it causes you to stumble, before it causes you to lose your cool, or lose your job, or lose your family, or even worse, lose your life. This is your girl, Wakeji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Wakeji Kamore.